Hel Hello, everyone, and welcome to Zatsudon. Woo! Happy Thanksgiving! Happy Turkey Day! Woo! If you like the stream, be sure to hit that like button. If you like my content, be sure to subscribe. Really helps out the channel a lot. And if you ring the notification bell, you ring a ding ding, you'll be notified whenever I stream, which is pretty awesome. Without further ado, let's get into it. So, it's Turkey Day, Thanksgiving. So, but here I am. I figured a plant man, much as like myself, should be, you know, available to the folks for the big meal day. Because I mean, come on, look at me. I look like I belong on Thanksgiving, like on a Thanksgiving table or like a Turkey Day table or whatever. I am the feast. Eat me. Hey, baby, let's move this over here. Let's move my phone over there. I kind of want to see it just in case I get, like, a call or something from, like, family or friends saying, Happy Turkey Day or whatever. But, yeah. So, brain fart. But yeah, happy Turkey Day, everyone. Happy Turkey Day. I figured today would probably be just a good day to just, you know, just chillax and just talk for a little bit. Take a look at sort of where things are, just talk about a few things I want to talk about. I did talk about a few things So there are a few things I wanted to talk about today that I talked about last stream, but I might as well just talk about it today, you know. I just talk about it anyway, i.e. Don/anime in general. But yeah. What image is this? Oh. Do I have any other gifts? Nope, wrong thingy. I want to do that one. I don't think I have any transparent backgrounds. Any transparent background gifts? No, I think I have like a few actually. Now that I look at it. No, I have two. No, three. 4 maybe? Possibly 4. 5. 6. I'm finding them as I'm counting as I go along. At least 6. Anyway, let's hide that. So, alright. So how have you guys been doing? I've been doing pretty good. Like I said, stuff with the new job. Taking effectively a day off today, given, you know, today's Turkey Day. So, you know, I'm just gonna leave the ringer on, just put that over there. Out of sight, out of mind. Hopefully I don't hear it. Excuse me, sorry about that. But yeah. I did not watch the Macy's Day Parade. Well, I watched a bit of it. Saw Luffy, saw Goku. I'm sure Pokemon was there somewhere. Pokemon's usually there. Maybe Mario. But I digress. Anyway. What have you guys been up to? I've had my fill. I've had my food. I will actually have more food after the stream because that's when I'll make my dinner. So. But yeah. So I've been watching Dawn to Dawn, like I've mentioned, like I have previously mentioned. I've been watching Dawn to Dawn. Actually, I think a new episode comes out today. In fact, well, maybe actually, since today is a holiday, but it's only an American holiday though. So who knows? Who knows? At least I think it's an American only holiday. Maybe Great Britain? Either way, I don't think Japan celebrates it. So, because normally, like, given how big of the holiday it is, if it was big in Japan, chances are there would probably be a few anime episodes about, you know, Turkey Day. And I think there might be. But, like, not many. Oops, just bumped my mic there, sorry. But yeah. Just chillaxing, just watching Dawn. I have absolutely been loving Dawn to Dawn. Hopefully a new episode is out today. If not, oh well. If there is, awesome. Awesome. I have not had a chance. If there's a new episode, I have not had a chance to watch it because I've been busy effectively all day. But yeah. If not, I mean, it's not. I've grew up on anime. It's not like having to wait because like for a holiday break is nothing new. So like no matter how much I want the episode to come out now, it's not gonna speed anything up. No matter how hard I want it to. So. I need to get some supplies. Actually, I might have. I need to get a printer. I don't have a printer for my computer. That's something I probably might need to get. The question is, where would I put it? I have nowhere to put it. At least anywhere. I have nowhere to put it anywhere around my computer anyway. Because like I do have a small table next to my desk, which currently holds a lamp. Actually, hold on. Well, the power cord can slide backwards, so. I could maybe put it under the desk. That could be a possibility. Got a little puzzle here. That I will do later, actually. Huh. Interesting. Anyway. It's a little slider puzzle. You need to get it like a big square out through like a gap, but there's like a lot of things in the way. So, but yeah, like I said, I've been watching Dawn to Dawn, been absolutely loving it. Compared to effectively more recent animes, it's a breath of fresh air, because it's not just like another season of an already existing anime, nor is it like an isekai power fantasy and or like fan servicey episode or anime. One that's just like, yeah, this exists purely for the fan service. So, because like, and while I wouldn't necessarily say Dawn to Dawn is a wholesome anime, because like, I once thought, like, Dawn to Dawn makes some rather raunchy jokes, not gonna lie. There are plenty of, like, dick and ball jokes in the anime. Actually, I shouldn't say those words. I'm still only like 12 minutes in. I'm not an hour in yet. There's plenty of like raunchy jokes in the anime, but I would not necessarily call the anime raunchy itself, which is good. Which is really, really good. I like that. The action sequences are really well done. I absolutely love it. And the music choice. Oh boy, howdy, the music choice. There's a big, like, chase scene, and instead of, like, you know, having some, like, commissioned music for the anime, like, you know, what you'd probably expect, they used the William Tell Overture. Granted, it is remixed, so, like, obviously they did, like, they probably commissioned, you know, the remix. But it's still, like, you know, a cover. It isn't new. It isn't a new song. It is a remix. It is a cover of a song. A damn good one, mind you. But, like, how often do you see, like, you know, animes doing that? How often do you see an anime, you know, use a cover of, like, a pre-existing song instead of, like, you know, commissioning something completely brand new? That isn't, like, they're like, that isn't, like, wasn't originally used for the anime itself. If that made any sense. Because, like, I know, like, in Fairy Tail, like, there's a good example here, but, like, in Fairy Tail, like, they have, like, the main theme to Fairy Tail, not like the opening theme, but, like, the big hype music that plays during Fairy Tail, that gets remixed several different ways to effectively fit the mood of the scene. So, like, while yes, it was probably commissioned to be remixed in that way, the original composition was pretty much made for the anime itself, so that doesn't count. No. It uses classical music. How often do you see an anime or hear an anime use classical music for its soundtrack? Excuse me. Excuse me. Like, not very often. I think, like, I want to say one other time, but I can't place it. Actually, no, I can. It's Princess Tutu. They use the Nutcracker quite often, actually. But that one's fitting. I was about to say oddly fitting, but no, not even oddly fitting. Nutcracker's a ballet, and well, it's an anime about ballet, so yeah, you can put two and two together. Yeah, you don't often see animes using classical music. Which I really wish more animes would. Because, like, classical music... classical music just hits... Like, classical music hits harder than most people realize it does. Even to this day. Like... For any scene, there's probably a classical piece that probably would fit it quite well. Like, I'm not saying, like, the timing of all that stuff works out, because, like, obviously, like, when it comes to that sort of thing, like, obviously, like, the music, as well as the animations are sort of, like, made hand-in-hand with each other. So, like, if you're using, like, if you are using, say, like, a classical piece, obviously, what's going to be animated is going to probably be animated to fit said piece. But, like, chase scenes, for instance, the William Tell Overture, big battles, the 1812 Overture, that has freaking cannons in it. Whoops, shit. I almost dropped my water bottle. But, like, you rarely... see animes using classical pieces. I wish more animes would, because like when I heard the William Tell overture like start up and down, I'm like, holy shit! I knew this scene was gonna be absolutely fire, and it was. It was freaking red hot. It was red in more than one way too, cause they use quite a bit of like color choice. The entire scene is predominantly red. I mean, there's some black and fur shadows and like some other stuff and whatnot, but like the scene itself is predominantly red. So like it was red hot. Plus the comedy's really good, and it also has like an odd amount of like romance in it that you wouldn't really expect from the kind of anime that it is. But you know what? I'm there for it. I kind of dig it, you know? Cause like I don't really like romance animes, with the exception of Toradora. Well, that's everyone's exception. Well, and Clannad, I suppose. That's also tends to be a rather common exception. But anyway, I do actually like to have like some romantic subplots though. I do enjoy having romantic subplots though. Good example of this, Seven Deadly Sins. It was obviously like an action-adventure shonen anime up front, but it did have a decent amount of romantic subplots, which I really enjoyed. Like, I'm not there for the romance, but I do like seeing the tension. So, yeah. Like, I do like seeing that romantic tension and seeing, like, those realization of emotions. So, because, like, you know, the big hype moments need to be fueled by something, and usually it's a realization of emotion, which tends to be fueled by several different things, but the strongest of which being, you know, romantic in origin, i.e., say, love, or, like, strong affection of some kind, typically, which I guess would also include love. But, excuse me. Maybe if I sat up correctly, maybe I wouldn't cough as much, because my lungs would be able to actually, you know, expand, because I shrink them into a little ball when I get relaxed, which makes, you know, which compresses my chest as well as the rest of my body. I'm almost suck. You know, I'm not gonna go there. But yeah, it's a fun little anime, and I am absolutely enjoying it. Hopefully, it goes for 24 episodes. Most animes nowadays, at least for the first season, tend to go for that 24. So, and hopefully Dandadan does get it. It most likely will. But most animes, at least in their first season, do indeed get that 24 episodes, so, which is nice to see. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, once again, there's also, Toradora, the exception to everyone who doesn't like to watch romance animes. Quite literally, it's like, I don't like to watch romance animes, but Toradora is the exception. You won't believe how many times I've heard that. So, like, obviously, if that's the case, like, if Toradora is quite like popular even amongst its haters, even amongst the people who don't like romance animes, it's got to be doing something right. I will say this. Toradora, part of the reason why Toradora is so good is because of the time that it came out. If it came out, it is a grand total of 24, 25, I think, episodes. How many episodes in Toradora? 25. Okay, so it would be able to, like, match that 24 episode 25. Because, like, sometimes, like, every once in a while, yeah, you'll even nowadays, every once in a while, like, most animes do get that, if it's, like, a season 1 or whatever, do get that 24. Every once in a while, you get that 25. So it'd still be able to do what it did in the same amount of episodes, more or less. If it was more stingy, like, some things might have gone cut out if it was forced to go down to cut out one episode, but, like, first off, what would they cut out? Secondly, like, because, like, for Toradora, it really needs those little moments, because part of the reason why it I think anyway, it hits so well is because of those little moments. It's an anime that it feels like you're not watching an anime. It feels like you're watching, well, a group of friends almost. So you get very invested in the anime. Let's see here. Like, you want to see, like, everyone be happy. But unfortunately, not everyone can be. Because if there's going to be a winner, someone has to lose. Like, the only... So, like... The only person who So, at the end of the anime, the only... Oh, jeez, I forgot his name. Oh, what was his name? Toradora characters. Kitamaru, that's his name. That's his name. Kitamaru. The only one who, like, really, like, you know, wins without, like... Like, the only one who really wins, I say, and I say this lightly, the only character that really wins is, like, that comes out, like, that actually, quote-unquote, wins, is Kitamaru, and even then, like, it barely fits the description of that. Because, like, he like, his whole thing, by the way, spoilers, but it's, like, what, a 20-year-old anime at this point? Almost? He's in love. He was first in love with Taiga before, like, the anime started. Before, like, before the events of the anime. He was in love with Taiga. He confessed his feelings. Taiga turned him down. So he ended up moving on and actually fell in love with the student council president. And she actually fell in love with him, but because they're both so work-oriented. So, like, she is very work-oriented, which is what Kitamaru admired of her. And she knew that, like, and, like, when she graduated, since she was, like, since she was, like, 1 year ahead of him, when she graduated, she ended up, moving to America. Because, surprise, surprise, this anime takes place in Japan. Because, you know, it's an anime. It's a freaking anime. But anyway, she moved to America. But she didn't tell him because she knew that he would basically he would more or less, like, she knew that if she confessed her feelings of him, to him, that not only A, he would accept them, but B, he would basically ruin his life to support her, and she did not want that. So she didn't tell him that. She was moving to America. Things end up happening. Taiga, who actually ended up developing a crush on him, on Kitamaru, ends up fighting the president because reasons, where all this information gets told out, gets told and whatnot, and basically the way it works out is, like, they basically, so Kitamaru, Kitamaru, there we go. Jeez. The way it basically works out is Kitamaru and the president, student council president, basically they confess, they effectively, like, their feelings get put onto the table, and basically for what effectively ends up happening is, and I picked this up from, like, subtle clues, is that Kitamaru and the council president basically have a long distance relationship until he graduates. So they keep it up for a year, because at the end of the anime, it skips a year to their graduation, and it's revealed that Kitamaru is moving to America himself after graduation, presumably to be with the student council president. So basically, like, he recognized, like, basically they basically just had a long distance relationship, and now that he's, you know, graduated, he can go to America with her. So he effectively wins. Like, their feelings were effectively, like, you know, put on the table, accepted by each other, and then, like, you know, the biggest issue that she was worried about, he was like, okay, I understand. I understand you don't want me to ruin my life for you. I'll stay. And yeah, they from what I can tell, just entered a long distance relationship. So sorry, and he's the only one who really wins, all things considered, and that's putting it lightly. I imagine when Taiga goes, I believe Ryuji and Taiga probably had a similar scenario, because at the end, like, it is shown that, like, Taiga does go to their graduation and shows up, even though Ryuji's the only one who sees her. I would have liked, you know, at least a small reunion between Taiga and the rest of their friend group, but oh well. Like, if there's one thing I would change about the anime, it would be that. At the end of the scene, like, when Ryuji finds Taiga, like, you know, in the locker or whatever, and he finally says, I love you, and all that stuff, like, it doesn't even need to be voice acted, just, you know, just maybe say, like, Ryuji and Taiga walking out maybe hand in hand to the rest of the group sees them, like, obviously, like, in character, like, yay, Taiga, you're here, or whatever, and, like, then roll credits. Like, it would have had, like, 30, like, not even 30 seconds. It's like 15 seconds at most. Because they could have easily just done, like, you know, shown just, you know, them walking up to the group and just everyone like, yeah, Taiga's here, and sort of whatever. That would be the only thing I'd change about Toradora. Is like having like an ending scene where like everyone gets, where like everyone's together. So, you know, like, so keep that scene with Ryuji, because that's important for the final scene. But like, I also want to see, like, you know, everyone else reunite with Taiga, because like she's like, while she has a deep relationship with Ryuji, she still has like a strong relationship with like the rest of the group. You know, like Ame, Miroin, Kinamaru. She does get over her crush and realize that she does in fact love Ryuji. Christmas episode. That's a big one. Minori, yeah, Minori. So, which, also, I will say this, Ami so like in Toradora, Ami is the tragic character of the entire story, because she effectively loses at every turn, but she decides, she falls in love with Ryuji and basically becomes a love rival for Taiga for the series. But it's very clear that while Ryuji is, like, as the viewer, you can tell that Ryuji is developing feelings for Taiga, it is very clear to the viewer that he views Ami as nothing more than a friend. Though it's also clear to the viewer that she is very clearly wanting more. And she decides to be the bigger person and, you know, she realizes that and she's like, okay, I've lost. And she does that twice, in fact. One with, Maroni. Fuck, I'm terrible with names. And then, like, again with Taiga. Or Ami, my bad. Minori. She does it first with, like... Well, actually, it's like Taiga, then Minori. And then Taiga again, kind of, sort of. No. It's weird. It's a whole web of, like... It's a whole web of, like, you know, relationship stuff. It's very complicated. Oh, hello, Cuphead Master. How are you? Happy Turkey Day. Let's sit up in my chair. So, I am just talking about anime. Right now, Toradora, and it's Cuphead. Cool. Good, that's good, that's good. Yeah, right now I'm just talking about Toradora and its complete web. Another thing about Toradora that I thought... So going back to my original thought of Toradora here, Toradora would not be as good as it is if it came out today. Why? Because Hat King dies today. Ooh. Today's Turkey Day. Today's a lazy day. Don't fret over it. Is because of the animation. Because, like, today in anime, a lot of the animation you see is very... YouTube, stay connected to the chat for more than 5 for like 5 minutes, please, is like very crisp and clean. Because like there's a scene like when Taiga fights the school council president or whatever. When she fights her, there's a scene where Taiga's like, you know, jumping over the desks. The animation uses like they basically just like make Taiga into a blur, to like a red and brown blur. But if that was scene was animated today, you know, I'm confident that like we'd be able to see Taiga, you know, jump from desk to desk, crisp and cleanly. But since the animation wasn't as good back then, they decided to make it a blur because a blur would have been easier to animate. And it's because of that blur, I think A, makes it seem like Taiga's moving faster, and B, adds to the scene, because of, first off, the previous point mentioned, it makes Taiga seem like she's moving faster, therefore it seems like there's more like emotion and force behind her movement, which adds to the scene. Like, but like if you make it so like you can see her movement, if you can see Taiga when she's moving, like clearly, it honestly seems like it would probably make it seem like she's moving slower. So like having like the rougher animation, I think actually like played to Toradora's advantage. Honestly. Oops. Which is really cool. I like it when anime plays to the strengths of what they have to animate with. Or choose to use a quote-unquote lesser technique to when animating even modern-day stuff. Because some of those older techniques, yes, they may not look as crisp and clear as, you know, today, but if used correctly, can, you know, distill, like, a heightened sense of, like, emotions, feeling, or movement. Or all three. Or some combination of them, or all three. So, like, yeah! And I'm just tried to explain the web of Toradora, and boy howdy, did I fail at that. Yeah, no. It is a complete web. It has been a few months since I last saw it, so, I know the big points. But to try and explain the web itself, my gosh. Also, Maroni? Can never remember her name. Minori. There we go. I said Ami is a tragic character, so is Minori. Almost even more so. Actually, no, that is wrong. Ami is by far the more tragic character of the two. Though she is put down, while both are Minori and Ami are both tragic characters in Toradora, they are both tragic characters in different ways. Because Ami, she's a tragic character, but her tragedies aren't nearly as deep as Minori's is. Like, Minori's, her tragedies, she doesn't have nearly as many tragic moments as Ami does, but the ones that she does have you seen Six Musical? I have not. Is it an anime? But the tragedies Minori goes through hit a lot harder than the tragedies that Ami goes through. It feels like. So while Ami has more of them, So while Ami has more of them, it doesn't feel like they're hitting as hard as Minori's does. So, which obviously, like, which obviously given the cast, like, since I've said, like, Ami and Minori are the tragic characters, that would mean that Ryuji, Taiga, and Kitamaru. No. That's not right. Is it right? I can... Kitamura. Are the comedic characters, given traditional stage terms. Because, like, Kitamura, obviously, like, he has a happy ending, though it's not really shown, and then, like, the last minute of, you know, the anime, they give Ryuji and Taiga their happy ending, so which puts them in the comedy section. But I'm also curious, is like, going back to Don to Don, I'm curious to where Don to Don is going to be going with, like, its romance. Because it is by far more action-packed and more than Toradora was. Toradora does have his action scenes. I mean, there's a few fight scenes in there. I mean, like, I mentioned Taiga versus Council President. And and there's, like, a few between, like, I think Taiga and Ami? The Toradora race! How can I forget that? That's, like, the best scene in the anime. One of the best scenes in the anime. Even not the best. Because, like, the entirety of the Christmas episode is pretty good. But the race is up there for sure in Toradora. What is with race scenes in anime hitting so incredibly hard? Because, like, I mean, in Toradora, the race scene in Toradora, incredible, amazing. The chase scene with, like, Turbo Granny in Don to Don, especially with the William Tell Overture playing, top notch, slaps really hard, like, perfect. What is with, like, everyone says, like, you know, it's like the terminant, not, you know, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like, racing seemed to hit, like, incredibly hard. Like, there's just something about the races, like, yeah. It just hits differently. Those scenes of just, like, where there's a character that's just, like, wanting to be first, wanting to, you know, be ahead of everything else by any means necessary. It's just like, like, wow, I cannot say that. Wow, I cannot speak. Tournament arc. There we go. Like, people will say about the tournament arcs are, like, really good. Because, like, it pits characters together and stuff like that. And, like, well, yes, I get that. Like, and while there can be, you know, emotional investment, race or chase scenes or whatever, are able to hold, like, not only hold, like, the same kind of, like, you know, competitive nature, but can also have, it seems like it's able to adapt more, like, emotional, like, investment as well than, like, say, a tournament arc can. Because, like, with a tournament arc, you're gonna have those downtimes between each, like, you know, brain fart. Between each, between, like, each, like, competition, between each, like, battle, I suppose? Between each conflict, there we go. Whereas Erase, like, you can still have that conflict, but you can, it's more, it feels like it's more, like, give or take, you know? And it can hold, like, a lot more, like, emotional and investment to it. Because it feels like in Erase, like, since you're going over, since it's, like, happening over, like, you know, like, a distance, it feels like there can be, like, more X factors, maybe, which can also play into it, maybe. I don't know. I just think, like, racing or, like, you know, like, racing or, like, chase scenes and stuff, like, race/chase scenes and stuff, just feel like they hit harder for some reason. I don't know why. I always tend to, like, you know, those big, like I said, like, Toradora. I love the race scene. It's one of my favorites. Zatsudon. The series is still going on, but I already say, like, you know, the chase scene in episode 4 with the William Tell overture is already one of my favorite scenes, and it probably will be. And it will probably stay like that. What, are there any other... What animes have I seen that also have, like, race scenes in it? Did Fairy Tail have a race scene in it? I want to say it did, but it's so long, and the anime is like 300 episodes, and like it's been like years at this point, I think, since I last saw it. I'm not watching Thousand Year Quest. No, I'm content with just having the ending be where the main anime ended, so I'm not going back. That's the only other anime I can think of that would even possibly have a race scene in it that I can think of off the top of my head. I guess technically, yeah, over 300 episodes for Fairy Tail, yeah. The only reason I watched Fairy Tail, the original, like, series of Fairy Tail or whatever, is because I caught the anime when it was still fairly, like, early on, pretty much. Like, I think it had, no more than, I want to say 30 episodes. Somewhere between 30, 40, maximum 50. 50 at most. No, not 50. It had to be somewhere between 30 and 40 episodes, which is a lot to start out with, but not terrible. So it was easy for me to catch up. And once I caught up, I just basically just continued watching it. Did the anime go downhill over time? Oh, you betcha. You betcha. But after a certain point, I was like, I basically just fell into the sunk cost fallacy because I was like, you know what? I'm this far in, might as well stick with it. Especially since, like, I knew the ending was going to be coming soon. Like, this is, like, effectively, like, the final stretch of Fairy Tail. So, like, I've watched all of it up until this point. Might as well watch it out till the end. So, I did. It wasn't a... And I know a lot of people, like, hate on Fairy Tail. And, like, and I'll admit it wasn't the best anime, but I wouldn't say it's a terrible anime. It gets pretty repetitive, not gonna lie. Like, there's the BBEG of the arc, and things happen when Natsu gets to the BBEG. He gets a one-time power-up and beats the BBEG of that arc in one shot. New arc comes along, rinse and repeat. So, like, it gets rather repetitive. But I will give credit where credit is due. The way they handled Zeref, one of the overarching bad guy, big BBEGs of the entire anime, how they handled him was actually really interesting, honestly, and different from their usual formula. So I will give them credit for that one. I will give them credit for that one. Though Fairy Tail had two big BBEGs for the entire series, Zeref and Arachnologia. Arachnologia went down via the same fairy tale formula. Natsu got a big power up and just basically just one-shot him. Zeref, on the other hand, at one point during the series, we find out Zeref has a curse that makes it so he's immortal, and B, makes it so that whenever he starts, the more he cares, the more things die around him. So, as such, we are then basically clued, which with that information, we are clued in as to why he's effectively very, like, void of emotion. Because he doesn't want to kill the people around him. He avoids people, and he's very void of emotion. Because the more he cares about the things around him, the more things that tend to die. We then later find out that Mavis, the first guildmaster of Fairy Tail, also end up getting afflicted with this same curse. Well, lo and behold, they end up meeting each other and falling in love. Things happen, and Mavis, and like things end up happening, and they end up caring for each other. Well, as per their curse, the more they care, the more that dies. And the curse also, made them both immortal. Well, what happens when you got a curse that makes you immortal, but then tries to kill someone else who is also immortal? Well, let's just say things happen, Mavis ended up falling unconscious. Though, at the time, we were led to believe that Mavis had effectively died or, like, was close to death. Actually, more accurately, close to death, more like, is more accurate. However, like, Zeref did not know that she was still technically alive. He had thought he had just straight up killed her. He thought basically his curse overpowered hers, and he ended up killing her. The one person he thought he was okay to, care about, because he thought she was immune to his curse, being, afflicted with the same curse, and therefore being also immortal. He thought that his curse effectively overpowered hers, and thus killed her. Then gets into some really weird shit, because, they end up having it, like, Mavis was effectively near death, like I had mentioned before. She was basically put into, like, a stasis crystal, which more or less kept her alive. Well, actually, no. Her curse and the crystal sort of kept her alive. And they had a child? They kind of glossed over that one. Especially given the fact that Mavis looks like, a freaking so, Mavis is the obvious lolly bait. And yes, she had a child that she did not know of. Neither did Zeref. The only one who knew that they had a child was the child themselves. It was a really weird plot point. That did not go anywhere. It's a bit awkward and a bit weird, and it's like, because like the only other person who knew that they had a child was the second guildmaster, and he's like, well, she looks like a child, but she's technically a grown woman, to make sure that everything's above the board, your standard typical anime bullshit. How about I get off this? But anyway, going back to how Zeref was defeated. So, come around to, Mavis eventually, fully heals, because it's been, like, several years since, she was put in the crystal. And basically, like, Zeref is, whooping Natsu's ass because Natsu can't kill him. Because, like, it doesn't matter how many power-ups Natsu gets, this guy has been confirmed to be literally immortal. the dude literally cannot die. That is part of his power set. His pre-established power set is that he cannot die. Well, Mavis, being newly released from her crystal, and still very much cursed, finds Zeref. And basically, quite literally, power of friendship, like, literally is like, the reason why she admits that the reason she fell unconscious was because she was afraid. But she is willing to accept him now. Because, like, he's been willing to accept her all this time. But now she is ready to accept him. And in doing such, basically break the curse on... And since they basically accept each other now, they break the curse on each other, and both effectively immediately get, like, you know, ascend, and both of them basically immediately ascend. So, like, you know, props for the unique KO there. Though I will say there was that weird part in the center where they had a child that neither of them knew about. That was a weird plot point, like I said, that really didn't go anywhere. But yeah, props to that. Props to them for that. I'll give them points there. So, but yeah. I'll give them points there. So, that one they get for, you know, the unique. And meanwhile, Toblerone's corpse gets play of the day. Quite literally. Also, Natsu is also created by Zeref. It's weird, but anyway, that's another entire plot point I'm not really getting into. What's my favorite anime? Ooh, That is a good question. I can tell you my first one was Princess Tutu. That's the anime that got me into anime. But my favorite anime? Oh, geez. That is a tough question. That is a tough question. I could cheat and say Isekai Quartet. Since it's a crossover anime, it would also include all the animes that, you know, are part of that anime, which is a grand total of 6 different animes. Let's see here. Favorite anime. That is a good question. Good question indeed. There's so many that I like, and, like, it really depends on, like, my mood, really. Like, because, like, right now, I'm absolutely loving Dawn to Dawn. But, like, at the same time, like, there's also several other animes I've seen and watched that I've also... ReZero, like, for instance, like, is a really good anime. Like, it would be a good contender for my top favorite, for sure. Once again, Princess Tutu. It's the anime that got me into anime. And it's also, you know, a really well done, a really well made anime as well. Toradora's up there. Once again, well made anime. Absolutely love it. But that is a good question. That is a very good question indeed. Also, I see my mic is picking up my computer fan. Favorite anime. Like, when it comes to my favorite anime, like I said, it tends to depend on the sort of, like, what I've been watching at the time. But at the same time, like, there are several top contenders, which would honestly probably all sit at that #1 spot. Like, for instance, ReZero. It is an incredibly good anime. Heck, the anime, like, when it comes to ReZero, not only is the plot amazing, the animation's amazing, the plotline is tremendous. Because, like, the anime... There's a joke with ReZero, and it's that, like, you never know what the opening... It has amazing openings, but you never get to hear them. Because the anime will oftentimes, and actually most frequently, forego the opening just to put in more plot. Heck, if they need to, they will forego the credits. They'll forego their ending as well. Excuse me. If they absolutely need to. Which they tend to do more towards the end of the season. But they have done it on more than one occasion. And like, while I have not seen season 3 yet, I do want to see it. I can only imagine that they do more of the same there. Because the anime does not screw around. Like, normally, like, when an anime comes back for, a new season after, I don't know, what was it, at least 5 years between season 1 and 2. Like, normally, like, when an anime comes back after a long hiatus for, like, a new season, typically we get that first episode, like, hey, we're back, here's all the characters that everyone knows and loved, and that you guys probably missed. We get, in ReZero, we get that for about 5 minutes, because not even 5 minutes into the anime does we get a freaking, does the anime, kick you in the freaking teeth. It's like, alright, yeah, we're back, woo! Buckle up, Buttercup, because things are about to get real bumpy real fast. Like, you heard of like, one going from, like, 0 to 10, like, 0 to 100? This goes from, like, 0 to, like, 150. No. At least 200. Real freaking quickly. Because it's like, hey, we're back. Guess what? You know this character that everyone loves from season 1? Well, guess what? They're fucking dead! And we are literally introduced, and and that's literally how season 2 starts of ReZero. It's like, guess what? This character's fucking dead. Awesome! Yep, this is the anime that I remember watching. Getting kicked in the nuts, like, at every single turn. Awesome! Awesome, cool, yeah. And it's not even a temporary death either. The character is actually, like, dead. It's like, yeah, because they don't come back for the rest of the season. Which in ReZero is a big thing. So, like, I'd probably put ReZero up there. I'd probably once again put Toradora up there as well. Princess Tutu is a good one. Dandadan's still going on, so I'm gonna hold on Dandadan right now. But it's looking but Dandadan is looking very promising. So, and while Demon Slayer is a good, like, no, I want to put Demon Slayer at number 1, but it is still a good watch nonetheless. It's still a good watch nonetheless. I would not say it's number 1, but it is a good watch. For sure. So, I'd probably say, I'd probably say it's like a toss between, like, a few anime is my favorite. So, like, ReZero, Toradora, Princess Tutu, I'd probably say is probably a tie between probably those three. I could probably second think of off the top of my head anyway. For my favorite anime for that number 1 spot. So I will say Spider Riders is not number 1, but does get points, partially due to nostalgia. But Because I grew up with spider riders. Heck, it's probably why my favorite animal today is the spider. I love spiders. Reason being is probably because, you know, I grew up watching spider riders. That was one of the things I grew up watching, and I absolutely love spiders. I thought spider riders was cool, so I thought spiders were cool. I like spiders. I think they're cool. But anyway, some of the things that I've watched on, like, in the morning while getting ready for school and or, like, Saturday morning cartoons. Like, who remembers the show Go-Go Riki? Does anyone remember the show Go-Go Riki? Like, here, let me go to Google. Go to Google Images. Go-Go Riki. Did I spell that right? I did. Okay, cool. It is spelled how it sounds. Let's see here. If I remember correctly, I think it was... it has very similar, like, Smiling Tree Friends energy, minus, like, all the blood and guts, effectively, I think, was how that was sort of like the style of humor I think it had, if I remember correctly. So, like, it was like, rather odd and, like, strange humor. But, you know, made for Saturday morning cartoons. So, like, so, like, a lot of, like, you know, the type of humor that you'd see, like, in Smiling Tree Friends, like, has a lot of, like, blood and guts and gore humor. But it was, like, a lot of shock humor, but it wasn't... So, yeah, Go-Go Riki had, like, a lot of shock humor, but not blood and guts shock humor, if I remember correctly. And, like, that, and I think, as well as, like, I think a mixture of, like, a bit of slapstick as well. So, but it was an odd little anime. Or, no, it wasn't even an anime. I'm gonna shove that right there. Get out of that. Let's see here. Image 3 was it? Oh, yeah. Ignore that. But Go-Go Riki. This is Go-Go Riki. It was an odd anime. I keep calling it anime. It was an odd show. It's one of the ones I saw. It starts the tail end of, like, right around when, like, Saturday morning cartoons stopped being a thing. Go-Go Riki was, like, towards that tail end. Obviously there's, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon have got removed at one point. There used to be Pokemon, but Pokemon eventually got removed from that roster after a while. Yu-Gi-Oh! Stayed, though. What else was there? Spider Riders was part of that roster, and once again, that eventually got taken off the roster at one point. That was before Pokemon got removed off the roster. How many? Hello, Fabled Phantom. How are you? Happy Turkey Day. Yes, Happy Turkey Day. Happy Turkey Day to you, too. How are you? How are you? Just sort of talking about anime as well as, like, some childhood shows I used to watch. Like, Go-Go Riki. That was one of the ones I saw in Saturday morning cartoons. Like, I believe Go-Go Riki's humor was, like, shock humor plus a little bit of slapstick. But, you know, made for Saturday morning, so, you know, not blood, guts, and gore like Happy Tree Friends. I remember it getting a bit dark in a few places, though. Sort of like, it was one of those things where it was like, huh, the punchline to that joke is kind of dark and morbid if you think about it. I don't remember what jokes those were, because, once again, this was probably over a decade ago. But, you know, those be how it is. Let's see. There was this one anime that I saw. I never finished it. I kind of want to go back and finish it, but I don't remember the name of it though. It's basically like anime Toy Story. About like, you know those like anime figurines that you'll see that are always like way too expensive? Imagine if those came to life like Toy Story. And that's effectively the premise of the anime. So yes, being, you know, anime figurines come to life, there was a moderate amount of fan service. It was also CGI as well. Back when CGI wasn't that good. Which is, I think, part of the reason why I stopped watching it. But I don't remember what it was called. Like, basically, like, it was more of a slice of life anime. But, like, this dude had, like, I think 2 or 3 of these things. And, like, he'd go off to work or whatever, and, like, they'd come to life and, like, do chores and, like, you know, being, like, you know, like, maybe a few, like maybe a foot or so high. Obviously would struggle doing, you know, some basic things, like, oh, hey, like today, like, hey, how about we try and make his bed, since he forgot to do that this morning? They're like, yeah, sure, and obviously, like, they'd struggle to do it, because, you know, they're like this foot-tall, like, little robot thingies trying to make, you know, a bed that has, like, you know, like a queen-size bed, trying to pull up, you know, a queen-size comforter in the middle of summer. Because, fuck, this guy loves to bake himself in the night, like at night. Who knows that? Yeah. But he had like 1 or 2 of these things. I'm pretty sure he had 2, maybe 3, actually. Maybe he had 2, and like eventually I think partially through they got a third, like he got a third one or something. I don't remember. I don't even remember what the anime is called. But it seemed like, thinking back to it, like it seemed just odd enough to where like it's just odd enough to where like, I kind of want to go back and see if I can find it again. Though chances are, I'd probably have to go back and, you know, try and find going back and like rewatch it like via using the same method that I watched it in the first place with alternative ways to view anime. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, I'd probably have to use one of those sites to actually view it again, because I doubt Crunchyroll has it. Though if I do get that Viz seems to have like everything, all the anime, so maybe. I don't know how much they would have of the older stuff, because this was back at least I want to say somewhere around 2010, I think, at least. So somewhere around there, I believe. And even then, that's still a rough estimate, a rough guess as to when the anime actually originally aired. So, but it's like, that it seems just interesting enough for me to go back and rewatch it. But once again, I don't remember what it was called. Just remember its premise. It's effectively anime Toy Story. Let's see here. I wish the anime Is This a Zombie like got a proper like ending, cause like the end. So Is This a Zombie got 2 seasons, and the ending to season 2 deviated heavily from the manga. So I wish, like, it would go back and, like, or, like, I wish Is a Zombie would get, like, No, you know what anime needs a reboot? Not Is This a Zombie. The anime that needs a reboot is The Legend of the Legendary Hero. It is such an underrated anime. My gosh. Ooh, I wish it got more attention than it did. Because it came out at a time where, like, it had, obviously, like, the full title of the anime is The Legend of the Legendary Hero. It had one of those big, long anime titles, which back then was a deterrent. Nowadays, it seemed like having an anime having, you know, a really long title seems to, oddly enough, bring more people in nowadays. So, like, Legend of the Legendary Hero was a bit too far ahead of its time, unfortunately. Because it had that long name before having long names was cool. But the anime itself was amazing! The plot was amazing, the animation was amazing, and the hype scenes, boy howdy did they hit hard! Oh geez, one of my favorite lines. Devil... how'd it go? Devil... God... No. Devil... how'd it go? Demon... Monster... Hero... God... Call me what you will. All I know is... destruction. All I do is erase... completely. Damn, that line hits so freaking hard! Especially right after you see the character that says it. He says that line right after he has completely destroyed a small army. You just see this character completely, like, you know, destroy a small army, and then he drops that. And then he drops that line. That freaking beast of a line. My gosh, did that line hit so friggin' hard. And there are so many plot points that are, like, you know, that are put out that are never recognized because the anime just ends after one season. Like, the anime, like, if it came out today, would be the newest, biggest hit. I can almost guarantee you that much. But unfortunately, the anime was a little bit too early for its own good. Because it had the big, long name before they were cool. And, unfortunately, it actually worked to its detriment. But my gosh, it was a great anime. I'm about to sneeze. One moment. Don't you hate it when it feels like you're about to sneeze, but don't? Oh, it's the worst feeling in the world. Whew. And then so, you know what that means? I'll probably just end up sneezing, like, out of nowhere at some point. But yeah, Legend of the Legendary Hero. Oh, another great contender for like, top anime. Not gonna lie. Because, like, if I could choose any anime to get another season, I would choose Legend of the Legendary Hero. Because it's a great anime, and it not only needs it, it deserves it. Unfortunately, like I said, it was a little bit too early for its own good. Because, like I said, the animation was amazing for its time. The name, it had a long name, which back then was a deterrent, but nowadays seems to, like I said, draw people in. So it was a little bit ahead of its time, a little bit too ahead of its time, unfortunately. But like, because like I said, like if the anime came out today, I guarantee you it would almost certainly being like stupidly popular if it came out today. I can almost guarantee it. Because like it has all, it seems like to have like all the right like Legend of the Legendary Hero seems to have like all the right things to be a popular anime, except it just came out a little bit too early. If it came out today, it would have completely dominated. It would completely dominate. I can almost guarantee it. But it just came out too early for its own good. But it is an amazing anime, and I highly, highly, highly recommend you watch it. If anyone who says this or hears this or whatever, if you have not seen Legend of the Legendary Hero, go watch it now. You will not regret it. It is an amazing anime, and it deserves more attention. So yeah, because like I said, if I could just, like, the studio was like, hey, we'll give any anime of your choice a second season, what would it be? Regardless, just say the name, it gets another season. It would be Legend of the Legendary Hero. It is that good. It is that good. And I have seen, like, granted, a few months ago, it seemed to have gained a little bit of, at least a little bit of a traction, at least a few months ago, but nothing, like, super major or anything like that, so I don't think a new season for it is going to be coming out, or be announced, like, anytime soon, but, it does seem to get at least some recognition, at least nowadays, so fingers crossed maybe someday. Fingers crossed maybe someday. But my gosh, I love it. I need to see if I can find that oh no, it's not gonna be on any regular streaming site. You're pretty much gonna have to go to like a dedicated anime streaming site to view it. Because I know it. So, for those wondering, you can find it on Crunchyroll. You can most probably find it on Amazon Prime as well, because Amazon Prime, I mean, it's Amazon. They're gonna have freaking everything, one way or another. Probably Viz. If Viz has all the animes, then yeah, probably Viz as well. But you're gonna have to go to at least Crunchyroll to view it. So, but I do recommend watching it nonetheless, because it is amazing and absolutely top notch. Because Legend of the Legendary Hero, actually, I'll say it. Legend of the Legendary Hero would put some modern animes to shame. So, it's like, Grandpa still got it. I hate the fact that I just used the word grandpa. I'm not a grandpa. Granted, most of my peers are now having children, but, anyway, existential crisis aside, let's see, what other animes have I seen? Like I said, I've seen Is a Zombie, which is a pretty decent anime. I recommend reading the manga more, though. It had the manga has finished. There's only 8 volumes to it, so not a big read. It is more of a fan servicey anime, but it's not the worst anime. It's actually a really funny anime. So, and like even today, I still see like a lot of memes from Is a Zombie. So like it's left its mark for sure. So. Let's see what are some other animes I've seen. FMA, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So, like, okay, when it comes to FMA and FMA Brotherhood, I would honestly say probably watch both. Because while, yes, Brotherhood follows the manga more closely, and, like, even up until the ending, because, like, when Brotherhood came out, the manga had ended or just about ended. Which is why the original Fullmetal Alchemist anime deviates. Because they follow the same plot line to an extent, but, like, the anime ended up getting to where the manga was at the time, and therefore still had episodes, lined up. So they're like, we need to come up with some way to end this. So they end up doing their own thing, which is honestly kind of interesting. So it's at least worth a watch, at the very least. I recommend at least watching the original Fullmetal Alchemist. Brotherhood does, it is longer, and it is still also just as good of a watch. And while a lot of people say, like, Brotherhood is the better one of the two, like, well, yeah, I can definitely see that. I still wouldn't discount the original Fullmetal Alchemist, though. I wouldn't discount it, though. So, let's see, what else have I seen? What other animes have I seen? Okay, I'm just going to talk about the anime Another real quick. So it's a horror anime, so it's not for everyone. The best summarize the plot line of Another, the build-up, so the Another anime is a horror anime. So Another, when it comes to Another's plot, it seems to have mastered the art of building tension. But when it comes to executing, the conclusion, the climax, boy howdy, does it fall flat on its face. It's like watching, like a gymnast, like, give an amazing performance. But when they go to stick the landing, they belly flop. That is effectively the plotline to Another. The build-up and tension is incredible in Another. It's like, you don't know what's gonna happen next. But when it reaches its climax, when it reaches its peak, it flops so incredibly hard. It's almost comical. It's like, I thought I was watching a horror anime. When did this turn into a slapstick? When did this turn into slapstick horror comedy? Jeez, okay. That's the scariest part of all. It was just how freaking... It was like, are they trying to kill the viewer by, the whiplash that they're giving? Cause, like, there's this one scene, it's like, everything's on fire, people are falling, breaking their necks. One kid, has a chandelier fall on him. Oh, but don't worry, he's okay. He managed to pull himself out. He goes running out towards the entrance of this burning building just to have a column fall on his head. Pretty sure he's dead then. We're just like, was that necessary? Was that necessary? Couldn't you just have, you know, like if you want the character dead, couldn't you just have the, you know, the chandelier that fell on him before, you know, kill him? Did you really need to have him survive that just to, you know, meet his end a few steps later? Was that absolutely necessary? Then there was the character that blatantly ignored all the warning signs. Like, literally other characters were like, don't open those doors. There's a huge buildup of, like, you know, pressure in there. If you open those doors, you will blow up. And they're like, oh, nonsense. I'm going to open these doors anyway. What's the worst that can happen? You know what? They fucking blew up. It's like they were told several times, I might add, that if they were to open those doors, they would blow up. And they open the doors, and you know what happens? They fucking blow up. It's like, That's... I know people in the horror genre tend to be pretty stupid, but that's a new low for that's a new low one. That's a new low. On that, in terms of IQ, that's a new low. I'm pretty sure we're starting to get into, like, you know, the negative numbers in terms of IQ here. So, like, yeah, and then the conclusion isn't even that good. Because, like, the main mystery is, like, oh yeah, like, this class is cursed. Because, like, each year, like, there's like, you know, like, there's only, like, 30 desks, but there's 31 students. But, like, when they check their numbers, like, it all works out. But why is there the extra student? And then it's like, oh, it's like someone's dead, and what, yada yada. And, like, in the best case scenario, it's like they ignore one person in the class, and it seems to, you know, subdue the curse. As long as, you know, everyone ignores this one person. Well, it just so happens this year, guess what? They had the correct amount of desks and the correct amount of students. But hey, but now they had, you know, an incorrect amount of teachers. They had, like, one too many teachers. And guess what? This cursed class is the only class to have a, like, teacher's assistant. I wonder who the dead guy is. Ooh, maybe it's the one class who has the teacher's assistant, who in years past never had a teacher's assistant. Oh my gosh, what the fuck? And you're telling us this now? Oh yeah, and another thing, the teacher's assistant just so who's supposed to be quote unquote dead, just so happens to be the main character's mother. What? Excuse me? What the fuck? This is a lot to unpack, like, right now. What the fuck? Excuse me? Like, so, like, yeah, they animate, like, the tension, the build-up. The tension and build-up throughout the rest of the anime is really good. It's really well done. Come to the climax, but when it comes to the execution of the build-up, when it comes to the climax, man, does it fall flat on its face. And hard. Yeah, so yeah, there's that. Going over that one made me like, give me one moment, I need to go to, I've been drinking a little bit too much water, give me one moment, please. Alright, I'm back. I had to wait for my toilet to stop screaming at me. I also picked up some really sour Skittles, like Shriekers. They're supposedly supposed to be like so sour that like you shriek. It's Halloween candy. I've already had a few of them, but they're not that bad. Even some of like the more sour flavors, by the way, because I am a little bit hungry. That's why I'm doing this. But let's see here. What are some other anime? Oh yeah, there's that one. Oh, Shuguchara was an interesting one. I forget that I've seen that one sometimes. It's like, oh yeah, that's an anime that exists. It's a cute anime. Pretty standard, like magical girl anime as far as things go. So it's like not. It's not like a bad anime by any means. And season 4 is season 4. Because they turned it into more like... So seasons 1 through 3 of Shuguchara are your standard anime. But season 4, half the anime is live action. Why? Fuck if I know. And the second half is basically just, you know, the episode itself. Like the first half is like live action like talk show? Question mark. And the second half is you know, the anime itself. And obviously during the talk show, like live action part, obviously like it's Shuguchara themed and whatnot. So like they have like the eggs and like pictures of the characters all around and whatnot. And like they did like they talked about like sort of like they recapped I think what they primarily did was they recapped the previous episode. And then I think they did like a game of some kind, if I remember correctly. I always end up just skipping that part because I was like I was very uninterested in that. I was like, I just want to watch the anime, please. So, like, the anime was effectively, like, 15 minutes long at that point. So, like, season 4 is really weird. Oh, here's a sour one. Still not that sour. The only sour food that I've ever had that has actually managed to best me is a raw lemon. Because that's kind of sour. Because you see, most sour food that's like, you know, man-made, it will come at you with one huge hit before simmering down usually to like a sweet flavor, typically. Like either just sweet, sometimes a neutral flavor. Lemons don't do that. They will come at you hard. The sour flavor will come at you very hard and never let up. It's like, yeah, no. Lemon comes at you incredibly sour and just stays incredibly sour. Never lets up. And also never have a raw lemon for breakfast. You'll be dehydrated for the rest of the day. I learned that one the hard way. So, do not take my right ear for breakfast. I think that's a lemon. No, those are pears. Do I have lemons on me? Oh no, they're in my chest. Like right below where my heart is. See them? Ba-ba-da-ba, right above the pumpkins and the potatoes, right underneath the flowers. I think those are, yeah, those are lemons. What is that bone called? I don't know. I don't have a bone there. I'm a plant man. Speaking of weird, like, extra seasons, Higurashi. The first 2 seasons are great. Seasons 3 and 4, they're a bit weird, not gonna lie. Seasons 3 and 4 are pretty much, they're both 4 episodes long for Higurashi. Higurashi no Nakukarni, or Higurashi When They Cry. There are seasons 3 and 4. It honestly seems like the animators just like, hey, we got the green lit for, like, you know, 2 more seasons, 4 episodes each or whatever. But there's really no more plot to do. Let's just take these characters and have some fun. Cause yeah, seasons 3 and 4 of Higurashi are kind of strange. They're almost Looney Tunes-esque in nature, actually. Like Looney Tunes logic, but with an anime style. Is effectively how I'd summarize seasons 3 and 4 of Higurashi. So should you watch them? You can. You won't be that disappointed. They're definitely interesting watches. But, don't expect what you saw in... Don't expect the same thing of what you saw in, like, seasons 1 and 2 of Higurashi going into 3 and 4. Because you will not get that. Like, you'll get a little bit, but not a whole lot. So... Going back to Shiguchara real quick. It is... Season 4 did at least give us... Where'd it go? Might help if I sit up. Where is it? I thought I was closer down towards the bottom of the folder. It is in this folder. No, I know it's in this folder. I got too many saved gifts. Let's see here. Ah, here we go. This. Season 4 did give us that. Of, like, what the transformation looks like, you know, from an outsider's perspective. So, that one made me laugh pretty hard, so, not gonna lie. When I first saw that. So, Season 4 of Shiguchara did give us that. So, so it has at least that going for it. Aside from that, it is a slice of life anime, so... Yeah. How does the... Actually, you know what? I got a computer in front of me. Let's figure out how Shiguchara ended. Shall we? Google. How did Shiguchara die? End. Okay, I just read like 3 sentences, none of which made sense. So, you know what? How about we just move on from that? Uh... Oh, wait, no, I don't have anything saved about Gigaburger. Gigaburger. It's just like 999 yen. But it was like, you know, the size of a person. Kind of glorious. It's only served at Mask Donald's. From the anime, Is a Zombie. Let's see here. That was a part-time. I've started watching season 2. I haven't finished it. I was reading the manga for a while, but I eventually dropped it. Don't know why. There's a lot of manga that I've read that I haven't finished, actually, now that I think about it. Haiti the Combat... Has Haiti the Combat Butler manga finished, actually? Haiti the Combat Butler manga... How many? 52 volumes. How far did I get? I don't remember how far I got. Yeah, 52 volumes. Okay. Don't remember how far I got in it, though. Let's see, I have... volume 21. So I've at least made it that far. Because I know I've read that one. And I know I've read all the ones before it. So I know I've at least made it to volume 21. So at least almost halfway. I've also read... So I've seen the anime, but I've also read a great deal more. Well, I've seen both Rosario plus Vampire. I have seen both seasons of it. It's an ecchi anime and manga, but, like, the anime is okay. It doesn't really go anywhere. The manga, on the other hand, the manga gets of Rosario plus Vampire in the later chapters actually goes pretty hard, not gonna lie. Because, like, the main premise is, like, it's this dude, he's going to, like, a monster school, but he's not a monster. He eventually, because, like, his blood gets... Because, what's her name? Like, Misaka? No, not Misaka. Yeah, with an M. Because the vampire chick, like, ended up drinking a lot of his blood and gave some of her blood to him. He's not a vampire, but he's instead a part ghoul. And he needs, like, a special, like... chain to keep his ghoul powers in check. So, like, he's technically a human, but not a human. He then eventually gets, you know, like, other ghouls start, you know, causing issues, and he has to take care of them, and that's sort of where I stopped reading. I think I stopped reading because I not because of a lack of interest, but I think... Oh, excuse me. Because, I just couldn't find, like... I just couldn't, get the newer volumes to read, I think. Or, like, new volumes to read or whatever. I think that's actually why I stopped reading that one. But yeah, like, later on, like, he's, like, he's still technically a monster, but, like he's still technically human, but he's actually... But in actuality, like, he is very much a monster now. Because he was once human, but he is very much a monster now. Because, you know, he got turned into a ghoul. Last time I checked, a ghoul is into human. Ghouls are, like, more zombies or something like that. Like, on some form of undead. Depends on sort of, like, the lore, what kind of lore you're looking at, to be honest. But yeah, like, and like eventually, like the dude, I do remember like eventually with his like ghoul powers, he does learn to like, I think, control it at least a little bit, to the point where like he no longer needs like, you know, his harem to, you know, fight for him. He's actually capable of, you know, fighting for himself, and actually does so on multiple occasions. So he doesn't need to, you know, pull off the Rosario, turning her into, you know, the other vampire chick or whatever. Instead, he's just like, yeah, no, I'll just use my ghoul powers and, you know, defend myself now against these other monsters. I used to be weak, but now I am strong. Pull the lever, Kronk. Wrong lever! It didn't really work. Oh, YouTube, you numbnut. There's also Monster Mizume, but I have like, how many volumes of that do I have? So I have 8 volumes of Dragonair Academy. Or, no, 8 volumes of Monster Mizume. Everyone knows that one from, like, what, 2012? Haven't really read too much past that, simply because, obviously, I don't have the volumes. And then 9 volumes of Dragonair Academy. Which is more fan servicey stuff. But more of the questionable kind. So, haven't read past, you know, volume 9, since I don't have any volumes past that. But yeah, they're interesting. I don't know. Anyway, I think it's about time I start wrapping this up. So, if you like the stream, be sure to hit that like button. If you like my content, be sure to subscribe. It really helps the channel a lot. And if you ring the notification bell, ring-a-ding-ding, you'll be notified whenever I stream, which is pretty awesome. Which is pretty terrific, if you ask me. But without further ado, as always, until next time, have fun, take care, and I'll see you in the next stream. Happy Turkey Day! Bye!